Yeah, everyone. Well, welcome to this week's community drop-in, Skore community drop-in. It's all today. It's going to be a short presentation or discussion around how to share your processes in Skore. Let me share my screen and show you what we're going to be going through. Okay, that's up. Yeah. So yes, yeah, we're going to go through talking about the why, the when, the who, and the how. That's not a typo. I was going for the 4Ws. That would be a bit of fun. And then we'll open up to questions about this topic. And then if we've got time, which I'm sure we will, because this isn't a massive topic that we're going to be covering, we can open it up to any other discussion, any other questions, or anything that you want to share, ideally Skore related, in the time that we've got left. We're going to do it a little bit different today. So what we're actually going to do is I'm going to try and get you, so if you can open up the comments feature in Zoom, we're going to do a little bit of participation. Just why not? Yeah, let's make sure we're all paying attention and we're all engaged. So sharing processes. Yeah. So as a lot of what we do in Skore, we often start with the why do we do something. So there's quite a few reasons why people would like to share a process. So that's the first question I'm going to put, and then I'll explain why I've got a horse on my screen. But in the comments field, if you can put your top reasons why you would ever want to share a process, why would you not want to keep it to yourself? Any thoughts, comments? Brilliant. Right, Lawrence. Peer reviews. That's interesting. To promote a common understanding. That's a good one. Prior to a review session, love it. Yeah, stakeholders before an audit. Got a lot of whens. That's interesting. But the why is can't think of a reason why you wouldn't exactly. And so I'm sure, especially the regulars on this. I'm preaching to the converted, but again, it's why. And the reason I've got a horse is it's very easy to have a blinkered view of the world. All the best intentions from anyone in a business, but you know what you know. Yeah, and you don't. I know it sounds obvious, but you obviously don't know what you don't know. So getting that feedback, peer reviewing it, the peers, brilliant. And so we're getting a real combination of where's, who's, why's, and the like in here, which is brilliant. But the why is really to get. If I was going to say one reason to why you want to share your process is to get better processes. Yeah, you get that feedback from a wide audience of people, and you're not assuming anything. Yeah, assumption is the mother of all mistakes. So actually getting out there, even if you think you've got the perfect process, which I challenge anyone, I don't think you ever have the perfect process. Getting that feedback from people in there. So don't be that horse, don't be that blinkered horse. Take the blinkers off and start to get that. The when. So again, if you haven't already answered, please do start with the whens. I'll pick out a couple. I think Sam said one before, didn't you? Yeah, prior to a review session. I think that's brilliant. Yeah, how often do you do that? Do you walk into the review session, especially if you've got new people in there, and they're blind to it? You've got it there online. Share it with them before. They can print it out. They can scribble over it. They can do whatever, but they can come up with their questions, and that will make that review session a lot easier. We've got any. Yeah, when you have processes stored over the place, definitely. Yeah, again, I think that goes back to Adam's. Get a common understanding is probably one of the whys as well, which we maybe should have laboured a little bit more. I think there's two bits of advice that we've learned over the many years we've been doing it is the when is as soon as possible. Yeah, as soon as you've got something you think worth sharing, share it. Because getting that feedback early on is key. And then the other kind of major overarching point is again and again. Just because you shared it last month, especially if it's a process is changing, reshare it. Repoint someone at it. It might be your focus in your project, but especially if you're getting wider audience participation, just share it again. They're not in Skore every day, or they're not in your process library every day. So just reshare it. The worst that someone's going to do is say, "Yep, still looks good." Yeah. The best that the other thing that they won't do is actually that's wrong. You've changed something which isn't right, and then again you're going back to that better processes. Yeah, when you want to change a process, brilliant, definitely. Okay, the who. This is no one answer for one for all businesses. So we got, I mean, picking out a few of the words already from the comments, but please do add more. I think Colin was saying with colleagues, definitely, yeah, and peers. I think that's the same sort of theory there. You know, sharing with people alongside yourself. You know, they'll have a different view of what you do. They might even do the same process, and so exactly, why would you not get those involved? Yeah, partners and external stakeholders. That was exactly what one of the ones which I wanted to labour as well. Um, it's increasingly common. I'm sure Sam and the team will echo this, where we're getting a lot of, especially larger organisations, saying we want to share this outside our organisation. You know, with those contractors or those suppliers even coming in and saying, you know, it's all very well keeping it to ourselves. You know, we can work perfectly, but we rely so heavily on other people that we need to engage them and have that common understanding. So yeah, so suppliers, contractors, you know, external auditors, yeah, people coming in. You know, this is what we do. Why not share what we have? And of course, I think, you know, you got some basics with the who's in terms of the SMEs that were part of the workshops. You know, share it with them. Yeah, those stakeholders, and the defined stakeholder. You know, it could be anything that's signing off a process to they own they manage the team, or it can be those people that have handover points with your process. Yeah, they might not care about 99% of your process, but they really want to know what those handovers are, or what they're expecting to come in, or why they're expecting something in that manner. Yeah, reading, perfect, great. I think again, if I was going to boil it down to one kind of bit of advice in terms of the who's, is try and make it a variety of people. Yeah, don't just go just to the SMEs or just one department or division. Actually, just try and make it a who. And then, as it's Adam, you know, question there, when developing a process, how wide should we share? Again, there's no rule for that. I always like to go wider than you think you need to, because it will be that one nugget of advice. Again, the worst that someone's going to do is, this isn't relevant for me, or yeah, perfect, that looks fine. You know, what you're aiming for is to get that nugget of information as soon as possible, which helps you create a better process. Again, never assume you've got the perfect process. So I think as wide as you can, or makes sense, without sort of, you know, seeming a bit too needy. Okay. So again, we could probably talk quite a lot about the whys, the hows, and the whos of when's. Sorry. So the how. So again, more of an introduction than anything. But the first bit of advice in terms of the how is do make sure it looks neat. And I'm not going over all the shortcut keys that I'm using here, but when sharing, it's all too easy to just leave it messy. And we do get people that do leave it messy. And again, especially if it's someone new to the process, it doesn't take 2 minutes. You can see I'm just doing this while I'm talking. I know I've been using this all for a little while, but try and make the process as neat, as readable as possible before you click that share button. As simple as that. That was the one message that I wanted to have on. I'm just doing that. And in terms of the actual practicalities of it, we've got a share button up here, so you can share processes with colleagues. This was released a month or so ago, so we can open this up. You can type the person's email address. I'll do a type ahead, you know, so I can go Sam Leach. You can put if you've got. You can also just put someone, if they're not a user in Skore, you could add them in their email in here, and it will send them an invite, assuming you've got the allocation available to do that. And then it will send them an email to say, Chris has invited you to look at this process. Easy, yeah. And so it works even if they're in there already. It's just a neat way of just sending someone that's not the system email to say, please come and take a look at the process. We've also got the share publicly to the web, and so there's two flavors of this. So we've got I was hoping to demo a pre-release version, but we don't seem to, I don't think that's on this workspace. So there's going to be in the future, so this is a new announcement, this is what's always cool. Now, is that what it is? Yeah. I'm just going to say that. Yeah. Always good to come to these drop-ins. You get little sneak peeks every now and then. There you go. Look at that. How's that for hot off the press? So there's now 2 ways of sharing a public link. Yeah. So we've got basically we've got public links and private links. So if you've used this before, by enabled sharing on this, this creates that link, which you can see here, and makes it available to anyone and everyone who has that link. So you don't need to be a user of Skore. So this is a really good use case of if you've got just a very generic process, there's nothing sensitive in there, great way of getting that wider audience without having to worry about people logging in. Or a lot of the time, businesses, they want to share kind of an example of what they're going to be doing. It's a way of a demonstration. Again, that's quite cool. That's a very neat way of doing that. And that's persistent. So until you come in and turn it off. But of course, there's a security risk to that. So again, there's a use case for it, but it's not widely used for some kind of operational processes. We've got this new feature, which hasn't been released just yet. And this is a great way of creating a link, and we say it's secret. So if I'm going to hit a button I've never pressed before. So it creates a very, well, you'd have to be very clever to guess what the link is, basically. So a randomly generated code, which you can then share with people, and they can log in. So there's nothing stopping them forwarding it on to people you don't want to view. So you've still got that consideration. But say you've just got, you've got a wide audience of people in a workshop, and you just want them to see what you created, and they're unlikely to come back into Skore. This is a really good way of just getting that exposure, still managing it in the system, and again getting that wider engagement, that wider feedback. So this will be rolling out shortly, and again you can see here from the text this secret link. It will expire automatically after a week if you don't come in and remove that link as well. So you're not leaving stuff open, backdoors into the system by doing the public linking. So that's really good little nice feature, which seems quite simple, but that would be quite well used. So we've gone through the why, the when, the who, showing you a bit about the how, the practicalities of how to share the process in Skore.
If you'd like to learn more about how Skore can help you, sign up for a free trial on the link below.